All right, guys, so this recent move broke me. It really did. So let's go ahead and talk about this move. First off, the reason that I had to move in the first place is because the home where I had my collection originally, or where I would record all my YouTube videos, that was actually my YouTube studio. It was actually just one of my rental properties that I would rent on Airbnb. My current home is a bit too small to house my collection, so I just left it all in the one of my Airbnb properties, and I labeled it as my YouTube studio. At least until we find our forever home. So that was the plan, but unfortunately, that HOA does not allow Airbnbs. So we basically had to find a tenant that would be willing to lease the whole house for a year contract, and we did that. So I had to move my entire collection out within 2 weeks, basically, is what I had. So that was the reason that I moved the collection, and I am now moving it into this home right here, which is another rental property that we have, which is going to be the new YouTube studio. So this one, it's a little bit further from our current home. Before it was about a 20 to 30 minute drive. Now it's a 30 to 40-minute drive. So that's not ideal for me, which is why I didn't make this my YouTube studio in the first place. But fortunately, I don't have a choice now. So yeah, that's my situation now. Thankfully, this area I've never had issues with HOA in my Airbnb. A lot of my neighbors know that it's an Airbnb. So yeah, from this point forward, I don't think I would have to move the collection again. At least anytime soon, like anything like the situation that I had in my last home, where I just needed to rent it out because it was just losing money. So I had to get somebody in there as quickly as I could. Thankfully, now we have someone there. We have this one rented out. So everything's good now. It was hell moving the collection. Let's get into that now. All right, so let's talk about the move now. And basically, it's had 2 weeks to move out. The plan was for the first week to put everything in boxes, all of my statues, put them away, put all of my manga, all of my Blu-rays in boxes. And then the second week was sort of going to be putting all the miscellaneous items away, everything in the kitchen, because I was moving the whole house, not just my collection. It's actually all the furniture, all the kitchen gear, everything in my office. So I was definitely naive in thinking that I was gonna get this all done in 2 weeks. And really, it wasn't even 2 weeks. It was more like a week and a half. But yeah, the first week, it basically comprised of me putting 1 to 2 statues away per night, which I was working during that time, so I had to do it after work. And these statues, man, they take 30 minutes to an hour to put away. So yeah, we'll get to that later. But statues was definitely the biggest culprit as to why this whole move sucked. But anyways, so yeah, I was putting away statues the first week, and then it came to the second week. I had to hire movers. I needed to get a moving day. Originally, the plan was to move on Tuesday. I had called movers during the weekend, and we had set the date for Tuesday. Unfortunately, by Sunday night, I had put maybe like 7 statues away, and I had about 40 plus to put away. So I ended up calling them, I think Monday morning, and I had to reschedule. And I scheduled it to the last minute possible, which was Thursday. The tenants were going to move in on Friday, and I had to have movers come in on Thursday and get everything out by Thursday so that the movers could come in to a clean home, empty home on Friday. So yeah, that was the plan. We got the movers. I also ended up renting a U-Haul separately. The movers had agreed that they would help me pack both their truck and my truck for the same rate. So we had 2 U-Hauls to fill up. one U-Haul, which is the one that I rented out, would be for my collection, and then their U-Haul would be for all of the furniture and all of the other miscellaneous items around the house. So yeah, everything was good Sunday night. We had a plan, and all I had to do was put everything in boxes so that everything was ready on moving day. So yeah, the next couple of days after work, again, I would go home or go to the YouTube studio and put 1 to 2 statues away per night. Oh man. I guess honestly most of it was my fault. But at that point, my wife was not happy. She said, "You need to get help." So I ended up asking a few YouTubers. I won't mention their names, but they live around my area. So I asked them. They unfortunately were not available. My one friend who usually helps me with this type of stuff messaged him. He was out of town. So that wasn't help. And then my wife basically asked me, "You need to ask your coworkers." But I couldn't. I just couldn't. My coworkers, I wouldn't consider any of them to be friends. And again, I actually work about an hour away. Actually, it was like an hour and a half away from the YouTube studio, and I just didn't want to bother them with that and asking them for help because again, I wouldn't consider any of them friends, and I don't see them too much because I mainly work from home. I go into the office like once every 2 weeks. So yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. So I was on my own. Although one night out of that week, I believe it was Wednesday, the night before the move, or was it Tuesday? I don't recall. Tuesday or Wednesday. My wife and her friend did eventually come help, and that's when I realized that maybe I didn't want the help because they were not treating the collection with the love and care that I would have treated it. But in the end, I didn't mention anything to them. They were a big help because they were actually able to pack all of the manga and the Blu-rays in one night. So they were a huge help. They were doing that while I was putting away other statues, which at that point, Wednesday night, I was about 50% done putting away statues. So out of the 40-ish or so that I had, I was down to like 15 to 20-ish. But it's Wednesday night. Next day is the move. So I ended up having to pull an all-nighter, just putting statues away all of Wednesday night. So yeah, that eventually I did get tired and I slept for all but 2 hours the Wednesday to Thursday night. Then came moving day. The movers came, and I thought I would have time to basically, while they were putting stuff into the trucks, I would be putting away more statues and hopefully get that all done while they were getting their stuff done. But that also didn't happen. That didn't go according to plan. Mainly because I was basically their boss for the day. I had to basically tell them, "Hey, take this. This is next. Then you're gonna take this." Well, every time I was trying to put statues away, they would come and ask me, "All right, what's next?" And I'd have to go walk and tell them, "Okay, let's put this away next." But yeah, eventually we actually ended up getting both U-Hauls filled. So my U-Haul, which was for my collection, they put in all of the Blu-ray boxes, which, oh my God, there was well, you guys see it. It's all here. You guys, this isn't even all of it. I'm too embarrassed to show you guys, but we filled up this garage. Wasn't big enough. There's stuff in the living room of this Airbnb. So I'm not gonna show you that though, because that's basically looks like a storage unit in the living room. So yeah, regardless, they filled up my U-Haul with all my Blu-rays and a lot of my statues, like a little bit, maybe like half, a little bit more than half of my collection, and it got filled up. So either way, if I had everything ready, the 2 U-Hauls wouldn't have been enough. So yeah, once we got that done, I still maybe had about, let me count right now. Okay, I think it was 8, let's say 8 to 10 statues left to put away, but it was pretty much all of my biggest and most like time consuming statues to put away. it was Figurama's Armored versus the Attack Titan, all of my Susanos, Cartoon World Sasuke, which is like one of the biggest Susanos that I have, KM Studio Deidara, which the packaging for that one was horrible, and then my most fragile statue that I was saving for the end because I was going to be super careful with it, make sure nothing happened to it. We'll get to that later. But anyways, yeah, I had all of those left, but we left them behind. We had to take the 2 U-Hauls, bring over to this house. We unloaded them and we ended up being done at around 9 p.m. Okay, no, so they arrived at 10 and we finished at 8:30 because the total amount of hours was 10 and a half, which that ended up being about $2,000.
My appreciation is depreciating. No, 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 no. $1.
Which really hurt me because I honestly thought it was gonna be, I had calculated, I thought it was gonna take 5 hours, 2 hours to load, 2 hours to unload, 1 hour drive, and it was not gonna go over $1,000. But nope. Yeah, it ended up being almost $2,000. That sucked. Oh, and by the way, by the end of that, that's when I really started to feel my 2 hours of sleep the night before. Because while I was taking all of the boxes, because they were taking off all of the stuff from their U-Haul while I was taking off the stuff out of my U-Haul, and no lie, I felt like I was never gonna finish. That's when I started to think I never want to do this again. I'm done collecting. That's when I was like, I'm gonna sell all of this because I don't want to do this again. Because yeah, I felt never ending, going back and forth, getting boxes and boxes of Blu-rays and statues. No lie, I probably did over 100 like trips going back and forth to the truck. Then eventually they did finish with their truck, and they also helped me with my truck. My plan was to let them go after they finished their truck, so that it wouldn't cost as much, but I couldn't. I told them, no, I need the help. You guys need to help me out because I'm going crazy here, going back and forth. I was going insane. I literally felt like I was going insane. So they ended up helping me, and with their help, it did go a little bit quicker. I think maybe another hour or two after that. So yeah, 8:30 we were done, and then I had to drive back to the other house and put some more statues away. Oh wait, no, I'm forgetting something. There was some furniture that my wife actually wanted to keep, so I stopped by my house first and took a break there and took down the stuff. I was exhausted at this point, but I was still somehow I had the energy to keep moving this furniture out of the truck and into our home. Then I went back to the YouTube studio, and I'm going off my memory here because it's been a week since we moved, but I can't remember what I did that night, to be honest, because I wasn't putting away statues. I didn't do that until the morning. I think I was cleaning my office, so there was a bunch of other stuff that I still had to put away. Oh yes, so I remember now. Crap. No, I don't remember, guys. So I'm gonna skip through to what I do remember, which was Friday morning. My realtor called me. She was like, you need to get everything out by 8. Are you still good for that? I think I texted her, actually. I texted her at 6 a.m. So the agreement that I had with my realtor and the tenant coming in was that I was supposed to move out by 8. I texted her at 6 a.m. telling her I don't think it's going to be done by 8. Then she called me at around like 7:30ish and said, what's going on? And she basically started to say all these things like, oh, per the contract, it said you're supposed to be out by 8, but let me talk to them. And we came to the agreement that it'll be by 12 p.m. I was gonna be done, gonna be out, and So yeah, once we were done, and I told her that it wasn't gonna happen by 8, she said, "Okay, you have until 12." I told her, "All right, I'm gonna take a nap now because I haven't slept." Because I didn't sleep through that whole night. I don't remember what the heck I was doing. I don't remember what I did after I dropped stuff off, furniture off at the house. But I didn't sleep that whole night until 8 or 7:38 when she responded, and I told her I'm gonna take a nap. Ended up taking a 2-hour nap. It was about 10 a.m. and I woke up and I still had everything to move. None of the statues were put away. There was about 8 to 10 statues left. Remember, each one takes 30 minutes to an hour to put away, and I had 2 hours to put them away and get out of the house. So I texted her again after my nap, and I was just like, yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening by 12. And then at that point, she told me, all right, well, you just need to get everything into the garage and everything out of the home before she comes here because she's moving in at noon. So at that point, I had the brilliant idea that it didn't occur to me before to ask my neighbor's kid for help because he cuts my grass. He usually cuts my grass, and I don't know why I didn't think he probably could have been a big help beforehand. But here is where that statue that I tell you guys that I was planning to save until the end comes into play because I called the neighbor. He's like, yeah, he can help. He comes over. He's ready to help. He's pretty young, so he moves pretty quickly. And I told him, I'm going to be putting away the statues away. I asked him to get any other stuff around the house that he sees and move it into the garage. So there was like a bunch of stuff in that house. Has so many closets, and there was still stuff in like a lot of the closets. So he was moving all that stuff. And there was one statue in downstairs, which was that one statue that I was saving for the end. It hurts me just thinking about it. But it was W.S. Studio Yamamoto, one of my favorite statues in my collection. First thing I see when I tell him, move all the little stuff, bring it into the garage, I see him carrying that statue, and Yamamoto was broken on the yeah. I couldn't tell him anything though. It's not his fault. I should have been more clear. But yeah, I wasn't even mad. I was too tired and done with this move to be like, I wasn't even upset. I mean, internally I kind of was. I was just like, oh man. I didn't do that. Like I didn't express anything to him. I was just like, all right, yeah, just put it over there. Like I tried to play it off like as if nothing was wrong because he was helping me out. So yeah, Yamamoto, he has a foot that's I had to glue together. It's a really sensitive area. So that broke off. One of his mustaches broke off. Couldn't find the mustache, so now he's always gonna be only have one mustache. The other one is gonna be, it's gonna look odd. But I know there was some other stuff that was wrong with it, but I can't remember at this one. Those two parts were the things that kind of hurt me the most. So yeah, I had a broken statue. I think that was the only casualty though, so that was good. All my other statues were fine. I put them away, although I did have to hurry it up. Once I put everything into the garage, which by the way took double the work because I had to move all the statues, take them partially apart, move the shelves down into the garage, and then move all the parts of the statues and put them, some of them, assemble them back together on the shelf, just to make more space in the garage for other stuff. And then I had to again take them all the way apart and put them in their boxes. So yeah, that was the rest of Friday. The tenants, thankfully, actually though, it was a rainy day that day, so the tenants didn't actually end up coming until like 1 or 2 p.m. So I had more time to put things away, but either way, regardless, they came. They had a whole posse, a bunch of friends, which I wish I had, and they moved all of their U-Haul. They took 2 loads, 2 trips, put it all into their house within about 3 to 4 hours, while I was stuck in the garage putting statues away until about 10 p.m., maybe even 11 p.m. that night is when I finally put everything away into the U-Haul. And yeah, they were kind of actually amazed that they were looking at the statues and were like, oh, that's really cool. Some of them were like anime fans, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I left that home about 11 p.m. Came over here with a full U-Haul, and then that's when I decided to sleep. I slept in the U-Haul. Like, I just got here, and I slept in the U-Haul for 6 hours. Yep. All of the rooms are being rented, so I couldn't sleep in any of the rooms. Even the office, there was some stuff in there, so I didn't want to wait. I waited until the next day to ask whose stuff that was, so I just slept in the U-Haul. And it was not a great, actually, honestly, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I did wake up and I was like sore all over my body, and my legs because of the whole move and because of the sleep. But yeah, I think we're all in this, as far as the moving. So the next day I basically took another full day to get everything off and into the home, on Saturday. And that was my move. It was horrible. The whole time after the first day, I wanted to, like, I was done with this. I kept thinking, I'm gonna sell everything. I'm gonna quit collecting. I'm gonna stop my YouTube channel. I was thinking that at some point too. But after a week, I've had time to process the move. And let's talk now about what my plans are moving forward for my collection. And I think what I'm gonna do is definitely gonna be downsizing the collection. I'm not gonna quit entirely, but I do plan to downsize it, quite a bit, and that includes across the board. I'm gonna sell some of my Blu-rays. I'm gonna sell a lot of my Blu-rays. I'm gonna sell my manga, some of my manga, and some of my statues as well. Although when it comes to statues, I'm gonna be very picky moving forward. Anything that I don't absolutely love will be leaving the collection. I also don't plan to display many of my bigger pieces, like all of the Susanos. I might leave those in the box until I find like my forever home. Still will display a few just because I love them and I want to display them as my background and stuff like that. But I do think most of my top studio Susanos, I'm gonna keep them in the box. Same thing whenever I have statues coming in. If they're big ones, I'm gonna unbox them for the video. If I love them, I'm gonna keep them, but I'm gonna put them back into the box. That way, when I inevitably move again, the statues won't be the culprit of basically me spending hours in a garage while people are moving into the home. That was kind of embarrassing, to be honest. So I don't want that to happen again. So that's gonna be my plan moving forward for statues. For manga, before I loved buying manga. I love building the collection and just having stuff to read whenever I want to. I just have a huge collection of stuff that hasn't been read, a library, if you will. And I loved it. I loved that way of collecting, but that works out if I have like a forever home. Right now, I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna stop buying huge amounts of manga, and I'm going to basically, if I'm not caught up with the series, I'm not gonna buy another volume. Even if I start a new series, I'm gonna do the 3 volume rule. I can buy 3 volumes of it, and if I'm not caught up with the 3rd volume, I can't buy the 4th. If I don't like the series after 3 volumes, I'm gonna sell it. And that's what I'm gonna be doing with my collection too. I will read 3 volumes of a series. If I don't love that series, I'm gonna put the cap at around like 7. So if it's not a 7 or above, it will be leaving the collection. I'm gonna sell it off. And with all of the ongoing series that I have in my collection right now, I'm not gonna be buying any new volumes for it unless I'm caught up and I want to continue the series. Except the only exception for that is 7 Seas, because I love 7 Seas, and I want to keep collecting their stuff because I do notice that their stuff tends to go out of print and out of stock more often, I think, than other publishers. So that's going to be the only exception, which Right Stuff currently has a publisher sale. So I'm going to be doing a whole shop with me for that sometime this week. So yeah, Seven Seas is the only exception. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Manga hauls will definitely be a lot smaller, at least after like 3 months or so when all of my pre-orders that I currently have placed come in. After that, they're probably going to be like no more than 10 volumes per month, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. For Blu-rays, Blu-rays I have kind of already stopped buying as much as I did before. But with Blu-rays, I'm gonna sell off a lot of my stuff. And when it comes to limited editions, I will buy those, but only of series again that I truly enjoy or I think I will enjoy. So Blu-rays, honestly, those won't have too much of an impact as far as how much I buy, but I will be selling a bunch more. Anything that I watch too that I don't rate a 7 or higher, I'm also going to be selling it from the collection. So that's my plan moving forward. Definitely, if you guys see me buying more, leave in the comments section and say, hey, you said you were going to stop buying, so you need to stop buying. Remind me, guys, because it's not going to be difficult to basically stop my collecting habits and my buying habits. But definitely remind me if you guys see that I'm buying more than I should. But yeah, guys, I think this video still ended up being much longer than I wanted it to. But I did want to make this video. I did want to document this this whole move just as a reminder in the future to plan my freaking moves better. But yeah, for any of you who have had similar experiences, if you guys have a huge collection like mine, let me know in the comment section down below how you've had a rough move yourself, or if how you handled it. Maybe you handled it a lot better than I did. Maybe you didn't procrastinate and actually packaged everything months in advance. But yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm still a collector. This channel isn't going anywhere, but I will be collecting at a much slower rate and selling a bunch of stuff out of the collection. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one.